Hi, my name's Angela Harney. I'm a Snowflake data superhero. We're here tonight at the Seattle User Group welcoming Matillion. We have Mark Eaton, the RVP for the enterprise team, and Kevin Healey, the principal solutions architect for Matillion with us. They're going to show us all about Maya. Go ahead and take it away, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Angela. Really appreciate the introductions and yeah, great to speak and present to everybody today. As we said, we are from Matillion. We're showcasing Maya, our agentic solution, and talking a little bit about how Maya and Snowflake ultimately allow organizations to sort of accelerate facets of their scalable AI data ready strategy. To kind of give you a little bit of context, I think it's important to really explain what Maya is, right? So we define Maya as an AI-powered data automation and integration platform, right? Think of us as sort of your virtual team of data engineers and agents helping you to do a lot more work more efficiently and accurately within your business than you ever have before, with ultimately the goal of providing better efficiencies and to have more data-driven outcomes come to that point more smoothly for an organization. We are one of Snowflake's top partners. We've been aligned with them both on the technical side and then go-to-market side for some time. And Sridhar had sort of first eyes on Maya when it was being built a while back, and felt really really blessed to have him say sort of like how powerful, intuitive Maya really is, and sort of where he sees our alignment with his organization as far as a glimpse into the future of what data engineering can and will be becoming. And on that note, right? So obviously Snowflake is doing a lot of great things themselves with regards to Cortex, or affectionately known as Coco, right? And so we thought it'd be good today to kind of just talk through some of the similarities of like how we put this sort of like, super powered team together, right? And when we think about that alignment, we look at sort of Coco's best practices aligned with sort of generating the models within sort of your gold standard, your business ready data layer, right? So having specific intimacy around schemas and governance, right? Being able to generate SQL and DBT models within sort of the Snowpark ecosystem, and tying it together through Snow Insights, and having those workflows. Whereas Maya really becomes some of that foundational layer, right? So how do you build and deploy pipelines that are data ready more efficiently, right? Running through orchestrations and the end-to-end monitoring piece. And something that we do really well, which Kevin will jump into here in a little bit, is Maya's capabilities in detecting anomalies, applying auto fixes, sort of efficiencies within the existing data integration process, is really incredible with what we're doing and how we align with Snowflake today. And so again, we really kind of see this as, one is really supercharging the existing models at which businesses are making decisions, and the other is sort of your autonomous go faster, more efficiently capabilities through, sort of natural language prompting. And so for us, our goal at Matillion is to really help bring businesses sort of forward in this process, right? Modernize, consolidate, sort of remove the friction of what was legacy ETL, and transition us into a future of more integration. From a staff perspective, right, the goal is to not replace people, but give people strengths and capabilities to do far greater things than we were ever doing before. And as we continue to evolve our product and our roadmap, how we become more sticky and align with better AI initiatives that organizations are ultimately building or doing today. And through case studies, right? We've got a lot of really amazing customers on the website and through other scenes that, they're seeing these productivity boosts at like greater multiples than they ever could have imagined. And they've kind of taken sort of the automation of Maya and Matillion, and been able to sort of repeat quality at scale that they were never able to do before. And we're going to show you some of that today. And so the hope is that by meeting Maya, you'll see value in what we're doing. And yeah, Kevin, I'm going to hand it over to you to show us the magic of Maya at this point.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Mark.
Mhm.
Thanks for that. And then also, Angela, just keep me honest on time, but thank you very much for the opportunity to show this off. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. So I get to show you the demo, but first I wanted to show that if you did want to book a demo yourselves and get interactive with everything and even do a trial and start using our product for a couple weeks, you can go to Maia.ai, right? So that's kind of our website where you can get started with this agentic AI, get some prompt engineering under you, build some pipelines for ingestion and transformation and so you can kind of see and do some of the things that I'm going to show you today. So we'll jump right in. Uh, Here we have our interface and we have our Maya prompting. So right from the get-go, you can get started right away. You can do anything with this, including building out maybe our first prompt, right? So Maya, tell me what I can do with I'm using Qdoba, by the way. I'm going to pick on them today. So, but definitely a great restaurant. I like their quesadillas. So going with that today.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what I can do with my Qdoba. And again, they're dubbing tables. So they were generated by us in order to get some fake data for this, in order to build business related pipelines. Uh,
It's amazing that you can do this, isn't it?
It's amazing that you can do things like this and it does the work so
Yeah.
quick for you. Yeah, you're right, Angela. So
Mhm.
at the end of the day, if I'm a data engineer, which I've been a data engineer for 15 years and I did plenty of consulting doing data engineering, I've found more and more as I use this product that my skills that I've learned from that time is really where this insight and understanding what's being built, being able to proofread, understand
Mhm.
knowing my data as well as knowing my skill set, how I can really see this, right? Let's say I build a data vault or I build a dimensional model or a semantic layer and I go in, I can see that as a engineer. I can see what it's done well, what it hasn't,
Mhm.
and anything that I need to modify or add, I can do that because again, I have that skill set. So don't think of this as the kind of thing that is going to blow us away. I think everybody is understanding now we need AI
Mhm.
as part of our daily work lives, and more people are using it all the time. I think virtually everyone is using it these days, whether you're a business user or you're a 15-year architect. The skill sets that we provide combined with something like this that gets the work done for you very quickly, that's where the beauty of it comes from, right? It's pretty
Yeah.
exciting. It's got that wow factor, like you're seeing, Angela, and
Mhm.
but also, it's not replacing anybody. If anything, it's supercharging people. So you're getting the skill set. You already have the data engineering skill set, and you're combining that with the productivity of artificial intelligence and agentic AI.
Like when the internet came out and everything, it's just here to help you do your work and do more of it.
Yes, that's the perfect example. I use that one every time.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, yes, we've all picked it up and it's a part of our lives, but you also don't want to be the person that was in the 90s where they had to take a class to learn how a mouse works, right?
Yes.
So don't let yourself fall behind either, right? So don't be afraid of it, embrace it. And you're not going to break anything, but yeah, these kinds of things will be set up. By the way, just kind of about not breaking anything, if you use plan
Oh.
mode so that it's ready
Mhm.
before you actually add it and implement it in, our plan mode, so it's do everything that it's going to build, we add it until you get off of plan mode. So that's
Love
pretty
that.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to
Mhm.
have that up and ready. So all I did is I just kind of asked this first prompt, right? Tell me what I can do with my data. It immediately found that data for me. It put in my key columns, tells me what the joins are, right, for the foreign keys and the primary keys on here. It's going to give me, and then I asked for the business side. So it's going to give me things like revenue and efficiency scorecard, profitability analysis, return on investment dashboards, right? So again, it's a combination of the technical side as well as the business side, right? The data engineers are still doing their thing. You can use Python code, you can write your own SQL code and use that for this, or you can have Maya build it for you, which is much more
Mhm.
recommended. have Maya build your SQL instead of spending your entire afternoon writing a script. You can have Maya build it in five minutes or 2 minutes, like you just saw.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so now it's kind of saying, what do we want to build, right? So do we want to do that revenue scorecard? I'll let you pick, Angela. Build the technology return on investment dashboard, tech reliability pipeline. So we want to build a pipeline that can actually leverage this data, right?
I
And
want to
by
build that tech reliability pipeline.
I like it. That's one I kind of like too. So
Please.
perfect. Yeah, I liked it because it said pipeline in it. And we want to show that it's building pipelines. You can edit
Mhm.
those pipelines. And again, what are our pipelines? They orchestrate, they load the data, but then they can also transform that data at the silver layer, so to speak, right? At that transformation, clean it, conform it, make it business ready,
Mhm.
and build that thing out for us. There's a few things that I want to show while this works, by the way. There are things called context files, which are YAML-based, and these are going to be the kinds of things that we can use as standards, right? So this one's a pretty simple one, but this, I'm just kind of going like this. Yeah, so you can pick split or preview, and you can put in as much as you want, and you don't have to write the YAML to add to this. You can just tell Maya and ask Maya to do it for you. So
Nice.
um, yeah, so this is the kind of thing that you can put in, right? Staging suffix. If I want it to be my silver layer, then maybe I have a staging suffix. Maybe I have a raw suffix for my gold
Mhm.
layer or my data that's straight moved into my Snowflake data warehouse.
Mhm.
Things like that, right? I could have an analytics ready or whatever I want to put. You can put bronze, silver, gold, whatever you think. And then again, so just kind of small things. If you want one that we are pre-built by us, then you can go into our Matillion Exchange where you can find pipelines that are pre-built, but then you can also find our context files that are pre-built as well, right? So the one I was just on, if you're a data quality engineer, we have a one that's set up for that, right? So you can put in
Mhm.
your rules to follow that. These are
Mhm.
helpful both at the company level and the data level, right? I want data best practices and I also want company best practices, right? So maybe I'm doing my sales data. I want specific best practices for sales, for example.
Mhm.
Is that me making that red? Do you guys see those
Yeah,
green
I see that
marks?
line, but it's gray on my screen. But
Oh, it's gray on your
um,
screen. Yeah, it's green on mine. There you
oh
go. Got rid of
well, it came back. But anyway, it's fine.
it. Oh, it was gone and then it came back. I don't know how
Yeah.
that works,
Oh,
but
I think it just colored into the background on the other picture. So
okay.
anyway,
Yeah, no worries.
yeah.
Okay, so that's fine there though. But yeah, so let's see how Maya's doing here. So it's going to give us things like this is what I'm going to do. What do you think? Right? So it's going to give me information on what it's going to build for me, right? Step by step pipeline flow. You can save all this as a JSON object as well if you click this button up here. But it's
Mhm.
going to wait for me to say, yes, I want to do that, right? So these things, you kind of want to watch that. It also asks us if we want to sample, right? So, hey, I'm looking for this particular table. I need to check that it's got data in it, that the number of records that we expect are there, and then it'll build that for us. It'll also give us these simple steps, right? So it's writing a lot here that we can read. It's pretty neat that you can do all these things, right? So you can go in and you can look through it and everything else, but it's also going to give us easy steps and kind of give us an idea of how far along it is with this kind of drop down here.
So what it's building and the actions it's taking is to draw something in the design panel. It's not taking an action until in Snowflake until you actually click like a execute though, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So what this one's doing right here is it's built the job itself, the pipeline itself, but it doesn't have it has the right component on this one. But again, we're in plan mode and we're all set up, so it's not going to actually do anything. Also, I haven't run it yet, so it's not going to run until I'm ready to let it run, right? So yeah, exactly. Okay, so it's building my reliability. Now it's sampling it. It's making sure that the data looks right. So it's actually checking to make sure that the data looks accurate. Also, this is on Bedrock and this is on it's on Claude, Claude Sonnet late in the day. but it runs on Claude Sonnet and Bedrock, and it's agentic. It's completely agentic. So it'll run multiple queries to double check to make sure that the data looks accurate to avoid things like hallucinations and everything else. But end of the day, you can build data cleanse and data quality pipelines as well, and you can ask Maya to do that for you. You can also sample the data, right? So if you ever want to look at some of it, you can sample it. Looks like it's done, for example, so I can just go in and I can validate this and double check and see what I see as far as what I like about it. I can also highlight it all and do things like create notes automatically using Maya on this, something that I know my account executives really like. So I don't know, never seen that before. So of course it happens during a live demo, but maybe it needs to finish validating first.
Yeah, we got green check marks. So
And add note using Maya. That is weird. It never does that. So
do
I've
you
never
have
seen
to
it say unable
select a
to apply.
certain object for it to
No,
add
it's
one to?
it'll do it for each, and it'll also do it for the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Usually. I don't know why it's not working this time. That's typical of a live demo. Uh,
Exactly. And it's whatever it is, it's because of that line that's going down the middle of the monitor, probably.
yeah, it's got to be
Just kidding.
that. But we've got it built. I promise that you can use notes using Maya. So it'll generate notes for you. You can make those notes longer, shorter. And the other thing too, you can just ask Maya what that pipeline's doing as well, and it'll give you a description of the pipeline. Promise you can do that. Do Maia.ai, check the demo so you can confirm. What I'm going to do here, which I think is really cool, we'll just kind of look, right? So it's got this pipeline flow that you can open up and look at. It tells you exactly what it's doing. It's joining, calculating, it's building the rank, writing it to Snowflake so that all the changes are made. But what I really want to show is the ability to have it say, look at my Qdoba pipelines and tables and make them as efficient and performant as possible
Like that.
and give me options. So I can say something like this, right? So short answer, whether we're grabbing things, by the way, we convert over from things like Informatica and Talend or anything else that you may have as a legacy system. We can grab the XML out of those, and then we can actually build pipelines using that XML, which is pretty amazing too. We can actually convert over some of your old stuff. But short answer is if you're building something and maybe you already have some pipelines that are manual and you've built them already, you've already architected them, but you want to see things be more performant, you can do that using this product, right? So it can look at your entire architecture and make it follow best practices and make it faster, right? So our pipelines run faster and the Snowflake pipelines run, or your queries run faster because everything is query based on here. So like this write component, I've got the SQL on here. If I open it up, hopefully Maya doesn't get mad at me while I do this, but if I put in preview SQL, right? So every component has this. It'll show you the SQL that's available that'll run. And anything that's a write component or a load component, that will run in Snowflake, right? So we don't actually stage it in any way. It's all run through Snowflake. So and again, Snowflake will tell you they prefer a healthy warehouse as opposed to one that runs longer, right? So
Right.
this builds that healthy warehouse. This
Yeah.
allows you to take things that are already built and build things to make the Snowflake SQL run faster, and also, it helps your company, but yeah, it gives you ideas. So you can see here optimization options, everything else. So the pipeline flow, where's my last quote? In order to look through this, you can always start a new one. And we have the history, so you don't lose the history for that
Okay.
for at least 30 days. But you can kind of see here, you can always go and find it by just finding the gray here. So the one at the right, kind of like text chats.
Sometimes does the
And
optimization, it suggests would be to run more things in parallel in the pipelines, like this one can go with this one at the same time to be more cost effective because there's more running in parallel?
Yeah, exactly. So this
Oh,
one's looking at quality features, and I don't have a lot of Qdoba pipelines and tables in this. It's just a demo. But all I'd have to say, either it's if you asked it to be more performant, it could run in more concurrent fashion and give you that as an option,
mhm.
or it could you just tell it, right? Like I need
Oh,
this to
yeah.
be as concurrent as possible. How can I allow this to run based on Snowflake best practices as well as what we built as a company, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this product is a SaaS-based application and it runs on containers, right? So whether it's Fargate for AWS or it's container apps, also Kubernetes is an option for both as well. But short answer is the more agents that you run, again, we don't charge you more for more. Our cost is strictly consumption, what you pay for what you use. But you can add extra agents to make things even more concurrent if you want to, right? So you can horizontally scale those as much as you need, right?
That's
So
great. Mhm.
yeah. So again, so here we asked it what kind of options we have for optimization and running things faster. So I guess there's some SQL Server performance pipelines in here that it found and that it makes it run faster. Any
Mhm.
duplicate pipelines,
Yeah.
some restaurant ID and some Qdoba reliability and performance staging. There's some duplication in there.
Mhm.
And then adding the Cortex pipeline output. So it found my Cortex, which is what I'm going to show next if we have
Mhm.
time. Found that and it said add that output, right? So it's leveraging Cortex. By the way, we integrate with anything that's new from a feature perspective with Snowflake. We always, or with, yeah, with Snowflake, we always have. We've been around for about 15 years, and Snowflake has always been important to us. About 90% of our customers are Snowflake. And so when new features come in, we add them very quickly.
Mhm.
And so that's something that's very helpful. But yeah, so Cortex, we've had the components for those for a very long time now since it came out. And yeah, so we could add that Cortex pipeline. So maybe I'll sneak in and I'll say use option 3 to improve performance. I hope I'm not the one with these green lines, but probably am. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I can just say add that and add that impact, right? So it'll give you two, like high impact, medium impact. If we picked consolidating the duplicates, then that would be far more performant, but we're gonna sneak this in because,
Mhm.
Cortex and this is a Snowflake conversation. While that runs, I'll just quickly show the a couple things here, right? That's Maya is going to be running a lot quicker, but what I really want to show is
Mhm.
how this works, right? So you put in your prompt, this business logic and data literacy, right? The technical and the business is all going to be, like I said, that's going to be Bedrock and Claude Sonnet in the background. We stay up to date on whatever the cutting edge is, and in this case, Claude Sonnet in particular, that large language model is very well built for data. It turns it into YAML. It's actually called Data Pipeline Language. It's our own custom YAML. It still follows YAML format, but we also add our own special sauce into those. That creates the pipelines or modifies the pipelines. And then it also goes back so that it can do things like add those recommendations, add those prompts that it's adding at the end, right? And coming back and saying, hey, I need this information, or, can I sample the data? That's where this comes in. And then it goes right back into prompting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool that you can ask Cortex to do some optimizations.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So cool. So it's done here. What it changed. So it tells us what it changed. It added a rewrite table that writes AI enriched data using feedback. And you can
Oh,
see the
oh.
Cortex components as they run here, right? So
Mhm.
previously, all the Cortex AI processing was computed but never saved. The results were lost after each run. So it sounds like it just kind of added a write component in order to get this working. But
I
here's
love
the
seeing the sediment and the classification ones. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So here's all
Yes.
these, right? Completions, embed.
Mhm.
You mentioned parse document before we jumped on the call. There's that parsing that you said you're using with
Mhm.
Cortex. I really like the multi-prompt. Then you can put in your own, right? And those are pretty neat. But yeah, all of
And
them are there. So this one
just a point
you
on that parse document for folks that there's a difference. Cortex AI can go out and query a multimodal document that's stored externally or in a stage. But there's a difference about its functionality when it parses it to land it and bring it internal into Snowflakes that happens in the parsing that is one step next better, not quite, it's not doing and vector embedding, but that level of parsing does a better job when you go to query something rather than leaving it out in the cloud. So they've done a good job with that functionality in the parsing. It makes it more effective when you then go query the information. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Angela. That's a good point. Angela, like right before this started, Angela mentioned Cortex and what she's doing with Cortex and maybe adding that to the presentation itself, which is a great idea. That was about 10 minutes before we started. And then I immediately just jumped in and said, use my Qdoba tables to create an ideal pipeline using any four Cortex components. And that's exactly what it did here, right? So it looked in, it said there's already an existing Cortex demo with 6. I'm going to use one with 4. The pipeline's valid. The sentiment analysis is working perfectly. It gave me an explanation on the diagram again, right? So the classification. And then it kind of gave me what 4 components it used and how it's doing that, right? So like sentiment does feedback, positive, negative, neutral, or mixed, condenses lengthy feedback. So again, sample Qdoba feedback. It actually built like, hey, I'm Angela and I really like the quesadilla. Kevin, I told him that I like the quesadilla. So it would say, hey, that's a positive sentiment, right? And it aggregates all of the feedback that you might have pulled from anywhere, right? You could use an API for Qdoba, or maybe they have a document or a PDF that's been loaded. You can use Azure or AWS. You can pull S3 buckets in as variants. You can use Textract, Transcribe. All of those are available as well. Anything that's AWS based for that, we can do those. So you can load video, you can load documents, you can load PDFs, you can load transcriptions. All those things can get loaded in and set as variants, and then you can flatten them into relational tables. But really, it's the prompting, it's the cortex that really makes that valuable, right? It'll take that variant, turn it into a relational table with things like sentiment scores and really take advantage of that. So again, this was run, this took less than 10 minutes. Built this out. If I had told it specifically what to build, it would have done that too. But again, like this sentiment analysis, I can go in, I can validate this. Um, Here's that, by the way, that AI notes. So it added for this one, it just added those notes automatically, and it used AI to do that. So I didn't write anything here, right? So I just told it what to do and it did it for me, which is the beauty of this whole thing.
Yeah, very cool.
And so you can see this. It built data for it. Here's the feedbacks, right? So there's the chicken burrito bowl was delicious. And then it comes back and it tells me the location name, the customer feedback, and the source and everything else. And so this is that sentiment. It's going to come back as YAML, and then you would just flatten it, right? So overall, it was positive. And it'll use, I think it's extract nested data that comes with Snowflake. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a flatten one, but I could just say flatten. Uh,
Oh yeah.
let's try to do that. Flatten sentiment customer, what is it? Sentiment customer feedback on the what's this pipeline? So I got to find the pipeline so I can just put in Qdoba restaurant performance. So it's going to be this one. No, it's Cortex, Qdoba Cortex feedback is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I found that's one of the things that these tools still need a person to help do is to tell it where to direct the interaction, to take action, not action, if you're specific and give it clear instructions, you don't have to worry about it going out to do something it shouldn't. It does less hallucinating. So
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, it's the proofreading, right? So we got to double check, just like with anything, right? You put something into ChatGPT or Gemini, you double check to make sure it makes sense. You don't just copy paste it and then, you ask it to create an email or something and then you just throw it into your email. You're going to
yeah.
read it and make sure that it looks good. And again, that's where those data engineering skills and that architecture skill, those things come in handy, right? So not just come in handy, they're required. So you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about uh, you know, definitely learn your AI so that, you don't become archaic in your skill set, but your data engineering skill set will always be valuable with AI. So yeah,
It's
keep
more
rolling.
valuable.
I'd say more valuable, right? Because it's faster, right? You're more efficient, you're productive with these things, and
Yeah.
you need to move fast. And having that understanding and that understanding of the company data as well as your skills are going to be needed quickly, right?
And that's what Matillion does for you, is be able to make it so much quicker and faster to build ETL pipelines, and then to be able to add AI on top of that. Just, it's phenomenal to think what can be accomplished in a quick
Yeah.
time frame.
Yeah, so look at it. Immediately it said, I put in that flatten and it said it'll add that component to the pipeline itself. So it's actually adding it on here, right? So we added an extra flattened component for that right after the sentiment, right? So that's the one that was variant based or object oriented. And so yeah, that object oriented array type.
Can
So
you
it's
click on that and I see the SQL in there? If you don't mind.
yeah, so it's always SQL. Every component is
Mhm.
SQL. So you can see the select score. Looks like it's got the case statement in there to use positive, neutral, and negative. And then it's going to go ahead and do some unions. I think those unions are going to be in the casting is what's going to flatten it. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And then yeah, and then I can go in and I can sample this, click sample, close some of these up and make some room. And then it should, again, this is that proofreading by the human. It should give me, there it is, sentiment, positive, neutral, negative. It even gave me, if you want to keep these or not, but it kind of gives you the idea of
Oh,
whether it was
definitely. Yeah,
negative,
that's the good stuff.
positive, or neutral. Yeah, I could just say get rid of these columns, though. I don't know if they're
Oh,
that
yeah, no, you
helpful.
need those. Yeah.
Could be helpful for the aggregation, absolutely. If it
Well,
needs that to do the count, then
for the
great.
data scientist folks, they'll love those ones and
Yeah.
zeros. Mhm.
That I've never done. I never did the data
Mhm.
science. I've done
Mhm.
reporting, I've done Looker, but and
Mhm.
obviously a little bit of data engineering. So
Yeah, and these concepts of what it did is it went and did get your data AI ready. So though your data is cleaned and no dupes and all of that kind of stuff like a normal data mart does, being able to pre-land this pre-reasoned enriched data that's landed now stores that relationship on row between that customer sentiment, this product, and that classification. And though AI predicts the next word, uh, and can do that type of next informational responses to you, it can't figure out relationships as well as when it's stored on row, and it can do a lot with those
mhm.
relationships. So this is cool that it figured out to do that.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
Yeah, the fun part too. Again, you've got plan mode if you don't want anything to move over, but right away. But you can play with it and figure things out like that. Exactly. You can be a little more creative and build things out the way that you want them to build. So those are the things that I kind of really wanted to show. Again, if you want to get into, and I don't know how we're doing on time.
We're plenty good on time. Whatever else you might want to highlight and showcase about your um, product. Let's go another 10 or 15 minutes if you want to.
Sure.
Otherwise, I can just go into more question mode here to close up. So,
Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah, so great. So, yeah, some of the things, again, we're building into this product, everything is going to be related to the agentic AI side. We already have the ability, you could tell it to commit and you could tell it to use the Git integration type of style here. You can have it build our APIs in order to load different data. But then you can also commit and push and do the Git integration side as well. So it's
Nice.
built in. It follows Git flow best practices for the Git integration. And again, you can put this in. So I can say, if I wanted to commit the changes, then I could ask Maya to generate a description for me. Usually putting in a Jira ID or an Asana ID is always a good idea for these two. But
Mhm.
the commit is that easy, right? So I can go ahead and I can do a commit, and then I can do a push, I can do a fetch. You can use us by default. If you're not really a Git person, then you can use us. We use GitHub by default, and you can just use us for Git integration. But if you really want your own Git, then you can use GitHub, you can use Azure DevOps. We're agnostic to everything, GitLab, Bitbucket. You authorize it on our end. Basically, you just connect on both, make sure that they're authorized, and then you can use your own, bring your own Git as well. This is going to get pushed out as YAML, so you'll have that YAML, but you have all these abilities within our UI as well. So I just did that commit. I could have it push. Sometimes, yeah, like it does right here, right? It says commit and push changes. So I could have just clicked this button too. I already committed, so we'll see what it does here just for fun. But I would just
Mhm.
click push and I would push this next. So you can push remotely or to the remote to your Bitbucket or GitLab or whatever you're going to have us use. Or you can add this publish option, which gives you the ability to use that specific branch in that point in time, right? So you would just name it, whatever you named it for, right? You maybe put the date or something like that. Then you can have like every a branch, like stay up to the latest on dev, for example. You could do that in development, and then maybe in production, you want to stay at a point in time for the month, right? Maybe we release to
Mhm.
production every month, right? So we want
Mhm.
it to stay on the prod branch. We don't want it to use the latest branch. We want it to stay on that specific branch until we're ready to release the next month, right? So that's where artifacts are really useful for Git integration. So you can actually set point in time. Those branches will always be available to you. So if you have to go back 3 months, again, the beauty of Git is source code and promoting, right? Code promotion and source code management, version control, right? So again, Git flow best practices is what you need to know. All
And you
these
do
options are here.
Jira integration with the ticket numbers?
Jira integration with the ticket number. So we would probably end up loading the Jira API. We do have a Jira connector as well. So
Mhm.
we didn't do any orchestration on this side, but we do all I'd have to do is put into a markdown like you saw before. I put into a markdown my connection options for Oracle or SQL Server or Salesforce, anything. You just put in the information here, what the host name is, what the username is, what the password is, what your OAuth is, whatever, you just name it, your secrets, right? You just put the secret name in there and it can integrate with that.
Wow.
But short answer is that would allow you to load the data. And then Jira is one of those. So,
Great,
um,
thanks.
yeah, good question. So again, we saw the Cortex stuff. That's on the transformation side, right? So the data's already in Snowflake. But if we go in and we have like an orchestration pipeline, for example, so if I can find one in here, um, let's see, skills. This is a demo instance, so I don't know if I have any orchestrations in here. But if I just added one, for example, I don't know if I have my sources for this, but here's the defaults, right? So if you were to actually manually add these things, you can see them in here. The AI stuff, so if I put the connector in there and I just type in Jira, that Jira query and the Jira load. So the old one, if you needed to still old to use the old one. If you're using something and we update and Jira in this case updated to
Mhm.
Jira load instead of Jira query,
Mhm.
then you wouldn't lose your work, right? Like you wouldn't have to automatically update it. We'll keep them for you so you don't lose them. But this is the new one on the Jira side, and that's how you would connect and kind of keep your Jira IDs.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and again, I wanted to show this because I wanted to show some of the AI. You've got Bedrock, right? So if you want to load, if you don't want to use Cortex and you want to use Bedrock instead, you have that option. Same thing with OpenAI. And then again, fine tune, right? So that's one of your Cortex things that are an option. If you're using Pinecone and rags, that's available too. Same thing with vector upserts for Postgres. So again, these things get added in, and then we also have custom connectors as well. So we kind of call them flex connectors. So if I go in here, Maya's built into this as well, right? We're putting it into CDC as well. We have change data capture as an option. The
Hmm.
role-based access control is set up for that. And then also APIs, right? So if we don't have one of the connectors that you're looking for, if you're if you're my customer, talk to me. I can probably talk to one of our guys to build a Flex connector for you. And these just have the endpoints, right? So we've kind of built some on our own. So let's say we use GitHub and you have some endpoints that you want to add. We already have a bunch of them for GitHub, right? So these Flex connectors are available with all your different endpoints that you want to use, for example, and we've got a bunch of the Flex connectors. But up here, we have custom connectors. So like Angie used Netflix, right? So she's one of my counterparts. She added this Flex connector using Netflix, right? So she pulled these endpoints in here. And then, I used to use Formula One for this, and then they changed it recently. But you put in, let's just do OpenF1. Any Formula One fans out there, the car racing, that's been big in the US lately, ever since Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Good. It actually gave me the right ones this time. So,
Hmm.
so you can see here, this, what it did is it went to openf1.org. And so Maya went to the website, right? Because I just told it to put it into the website, and then it pulled all of the endpoints for these, right? So if I have built by, let's see, instant APIs, does it have anything on? No. So it's going to be
Down
uh,
just.
like lap times, right? For example, I like to use the drivers themselves, but if I go into, I don't know why these aren't opening. Short answer is the APIs are there, right?
If you
So
scroll up a little, you mean the instant APIs? Down.
maybe it's under docs. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Okay.
So here's all my endpoints, right? So car data, driver information, lap times, race control. It's got my sample URLs there and it's got my endpoints there, right? That's ready for me. So what Maya did is it actually pulled those for us. So if you went into Oracle's documentation, right, and you needed the Oracle endpoints, then you would just put it in just like I did there, and it would give me that list, right? So if I want list drivers, for example, you can pick and choose these. Sometimes they need OAuth and stuff like that. So you can obviously build those, right? So you have the ability to set up your OAuths, but this one doesn't have any authentication. So I can just go in and I can click send, and it's going to give me the object-based array that I need for my API, right? So I can save this, load it in, and have my data ready and available. So what did it do? Usually it shows it for me. Huh. Yeah, usually I get Max Verstappen on here, so I don't know what it's doing. I gotta love live demos. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm surprised the
the
response.
drivers are not available tonight.
Max body exceeded the max size of 20,000 bytes. So I'd probably have to get a little more specific on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but short answer is it's going to do the heavy lifting for you, right? Like if I wanted to grab all of those, right? So I had all of them.
Mhm.
Um, I don't have to put them in one by one. I've got them available and ready for me. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, it makes working, looks like it makes working with an API pretty easy. So,
exactly, exactly. That's the beauty of it, right? So I don't know
and
why.
then at some point, or do you have just enough time to maybe touch base on like data agents or agents within Maya and Matillion these days? If there's any
Yeah.
interaction that it supports for that type of.
So it'll go in and support anything that you have, right? So the Cortex, let me double check on the Cortex stuff, but
Mhm.
um, I haven't played with it much, but I have done an open API, right? So
Okay.
let me just open this up. Got to go back. I should have right-clicked on the
Mm.
there it is. So Maya demo experience, find my Qdoba one. So this is the project base, right? So everything's agnostic, right? Snowflake is 90% of our stuff. We love Snowflake. We still have the option to use Databricks or BigQuery, or let's say you want to move your Databricks over to Snowflake, you can have both of them connected so that you can easily move that data over and move over everything that you need, right? So
Mhm.
that was at that project level. Every time you create a new project, you can pick the CDW and you can pick the cloud data platform, so AWS or Azure or
Nice.
GCP. So like if I pulled the OpenAI component over here, for example, this one I know for a fact, we can double check on Cortex. But
Mm.
when you connect, we have these properties, right? And so you could just tell Maya, hey, use this specific model, but you can see all the GPT ones here, right? So you've got
Mhm.
your Omnis and you've got your different agents. Is that what you meant, Angela, by the way?
Yeah, so
Good.
will it go run one, make one?
It'll give you every option. I
Mhm.
definitely think that that's going to be. I do have an OpenAI demo example. I don't know if I
Oh,
have
okay.
it.
We can table that for another
Yeah.
session, so we can close up. So.
Yeah, and again, if we want to build that out, that's the kind of thing that we can. For this, we have an example. I probably have to pull up a different account on the hub, but
Mm.
the big thing about, and the reason that I hesitate is just because you have to set up, and I don't have access to that on our side. You obviously will, but with this OpenAI prompting, the very next step is putting in your tokens and putting in your API key. So you have to subscribe to AI, OpenAI,
Oh,
right?
right. Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't do anything you haven't kind of maybe practiced out and made sure we're not going to do something we kind of shouldn't somewhere. So, thanks for at least taking that
yeah.
question. So,
Yeah, so let's see what fine tune has here, if it has any of the models that are available as well. Good, it does. So
mhm.
you've got Llama, Mistral as your options here. So that's going to be the ones on the Cortex fine tune component at least. But
Nice.
um, yeah, so you've got those agents on there as well. That said, I'll bring that up to our engineers just to kind
Mhm.
of find out because I know with Coco now they're using everything, right? They've got Meta, they've got Claude, they've got a bunch of different agents that they can leverage. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah,
And then just
saw
real
that
quick,
on the
just one last kind of close up question for the folks that maybe haven't seen the Matillion product before. One of the things I think I like about the pipelines, if you wanted to just pull up an existing pipeline, is that once it does place that out there in the panel for you, is that you can go click on any one of the connectors, and then you can go tweak the properties of how it's running and what it's doing so that you can uh, enhance or tweak different pieces of it one by one there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, great example. And I'll use something very simple here, but the join component, right? If I'm setting up my joins, then let's say I have an inner join here and I know I need a left join, right? So I can just go to Maya and I can say Maya, well, I don't even have to say that, but switch my join on the, and then I would use the at, right? So on the Qdoba tech reliability.
mhm.
Tech reliability, revenue impact. That looks like the right one. Yep. And switch my join on the to a left join. So I could have just clicked the drop down. That might have been a little easier, but short answer, it's going to be most often it's going to be a little more complicated, and I can just have it do it myself. So it'll switch it from inner join to left join for us, so it'll quickly do that. And usually it's pretty quick. Yep, there we go. So it's just asking me if these steps are accurate, and that's what I want. I'm assuming that it's going to do it correctly. It's pretty simple, but if you needed to double check, then you can do that. And again, plan mode is always nice
Mhm.
because then it won't do it until you're ready. You can have it do the work, and it won't commit or it won't change until you're ready to make that move.
Yeah, it's nice to have that check done in case you think it's okay to go do that. And it might come back and say, hey, if you do that, this down here is going to be impacted differently than you think.
Exactly.
Those kind
Yep.
of things. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll actually say that, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, good point. And it kind of gave us that information because it also, I believe, it changes the calculator and the other ones, the rank after that as well. So
Yeah, so this
it
means
would.
all records in the cast operation will be preserved. So I like the fact that because that's the part that there's so much information nowadays that these tools like this just help organize it and streamline it and help you think about the things you might not otherwise have the details available to you to cover.
Exactly.
So I appreciate this demo and the tools I've seen tonight. This is fantastic. So with that,
Yeah.
Kevin, thank you for being here, and you can thank Mark for us too. We'll go ahead and close up shop tonight,
All
and
right.
we'll hopefully see everybody at Summit in June. I know
Yeah.
Matillion will have a pretty good booth going, so
Yeah, we also stopped by Spin, the restaurant. We take over it for a week. So it's got ping pong and we throw a party on Wednesday, probably. Double check Tuesday or Wednesday. Everybody's invited. So come to that. And then again, Maia.ai, right? Go to that website and book a demo.
all right. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks, Angela.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.